Welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jo.
Hello, I am your other host, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you? Welcome to Bracknell.
It is. I'm in your hood.
This is my gaff.
So we have taken... Yes.
Can I say that on a podcast?
Well, you can and you have.
I have.
It's here. And let's face it, you are Bracknell.
I am Bracknell.
You are Bracknell. So thank you for inviting us.
We've had a lovely time here, haven't we, today?
Back on the old podcast on the road.
Back on the podcast on the road.
Tell me about Bracknell.
So we should actually have gone to one of our other sites in the contract, which is Coral Reef.
Oh, hold up. I have heard a lot about Coral Reef.
Oh, my goodness. Have you ever been to Coral Reef?
No, but I've driven past it and you can see some of it. What is Coral Reef?
So Coral Reef is one of our kind of water parky type facilities.
Yeah.
So we're talking flumes.
That's what you see coming out the
lazy rivers. And I teach aqua there, which is amazing. But there's a massive pirate ship in the middle of the pool.
Oh my gosh.
So I have made it my pledge that I am going to teach my Christmas class from the pirate ship dressed up as something.
As a Christmas pirate?
Something. I don't want to divulge exactly what I'll be because I know that they're avidly listening.
Yes. But it's a bit of a destination venue, isn't it?
It really
you could spend
is.
The entire day
Literally the
there.
whole day there. The whole day there you can spend. And people do spend the whole day there. It's a massive facility and it's amazing.
Do they have a wave machine?
Yes. And a
Oh.
volcano.
A what?
A volcano that
In a
erupts
pool?
with water. And there's an outdoor pool as well. So you swim from indoors to outdoor. Not at the moment, obviously. It's a bit chilly at the moment. But in the summer months, you can swim from the indoor pool outdoors and back in again. It's amazing.
That is... Oh.
You need to come when it's open. When the outdoors open, you need to come.
Bring my swimmers next time we're
And then
down
when
here.
we've done that, come for 2 days and we'll go to our other site, which is our Downshire Golf Course.
Now, I have been there. I went to Downshire for the charity golf day that they ran in the summer just gone.
It's a great golf club,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
just lovely. I love that Everyone Active have now got so many kind of different pillars in terms of what we can offer for movement and for exercise.
Yeah.
And golf courses. I love just being outside in nature. Can't play golf for shizzle, mainly because, well, my dad refused to teach me when I was little because
Rude.
I smashed the greenhouse with my first attempt at hitting a golf ball. But my positive was I actually made contact with the ball. Surely that's the aim.
That is totally the aim. And that's quite harsh.
What about your boys? Do they teach you how to play golf?
No, I'm not allowed to go with them.
See, I'm spotting a theme here. But Downshire, they were very welcoming.
Very welcome. And my boys love the range at Downshire. It's got an amazing range at Downshire, actually.
Yeah, and it's so good. And me as a total non-golfer, I felt like really comfortable. Like I didn't feel like I was walking into a club where I was like, oh no, I've got to know about
it's very
my...
inclusive. It is actually.
Yeah.
And actually, I think, so Mr. Laurie, hello, plays at Downshire and he likes the community. So we're very lucky in this area that there are quite a few golf clubs. But, and this is nothing to do with the fact that I work for Everyone Active, but actually he has been a member at Downshire for a number of years because it's a nicer community.
Yeah.
It's a really nice social... And they have all sorts of social events on there. Like a while ago, they had an ABBA night, ABBA tribute night, and very exciting. We've got one of our Christmas parties there. I'm very excited.
This one of them. It's like party season.
Well, it's party season. So I've counted. I've got 6 Christmas parties to go to.
And do you know what? They go through until the end of February. It's like...
No, they don't. Because from January, of course, it's my birthdays.
Birthdays.
So then we have to celebrate birthdays. So I've actually been sending Mr. Laurie hints of what I want to do for my birthday.
I love this already. But back to the social gatherings at like a golf club. There is so much more research out there about social wellness and also motivation by maybe going to a different place and learning a different skill or taking a friend that you met at the golf club to maybe go and do
something else,
group exercise class.
Yeah.
Like, I love how communities are reforming.
I agree. And actually, that is quite a nice little segue into what we're talking about today, about different forms of movement, isn't it? Yay! You're slick. Do you know, you should be on a podcast.
Wow, look at this. And it's like we can work together.
Isn't it?
I know. Do you know what, actually? We will get talking about our podcast. But I was just thinking today, now, this time of year, it was winter time of year, 11 years ago that I pootled all the way down to what was Spelthorne once upon a time.
No way, to do your insanity training.
Yes!
Is it?
Yeah. It's like our official anniversary.
Oh, that's cute.
Yay!
This is also the week, this time 32 years ago, I qualified to be a group exercise instructor.
32 years ago?
I was 6 months old.
Exactly. But I mean, that is absolute That's incredible, and just adds such creditas to the fact why you are a master trainer and why you understand how going through different generations and different classes and different trends.
Yeah. I've seen it all, actually, in those years. I've seen it all. Were you around when there was slide aerobics?
No.
Okay. This was a thing.
Slide aerobics. Right, I've just got, as in a park slide, whizzing down
You're on the floor with a kind of the length of a yoga mat, but it's a super shiny surface.
Oh my gosh.
At the end of each end of the mat is a rubber bumper.
No.
Over your trainers, you put on like fluffy slipper things.
No.
And you slide side to side. It was a thing. Slide
I would
aerobics.
end up doing the splits.
Oh my goodness me.
Or getting stuck.
Yeah.
Or no.
It's very popular, though, it was.
Many injuries caused.
Quite a few, but you know. These were the days when we used to do step classes.
Yes.
I remember I used to have 3 risers on my for my step on a concrete floor because it was in a sports hall. Mm-hmm. And I used to get like 150 people in my class, and I'm not exaggerating. I used to have a live DJ mixing my classes, and this was at Spelthorne, our old site. It was unbelievable. The Spelthorne Massive, we were there.
Oh my gosh, live DJ.
I had a live DJ. Wednesday nights was the place to be. Honestly, it was unbelievable.
Oh, I bet the buzz.
The buzz was incredible. I mean, I don't have any knees anymore, but apart from that, it was great. We digress.
But the amount of research and scientific backing
has moved on. That was what I was trying to say.
Completely. I'm with you. I'm picking up on that one, Mish. But it is. We are in a time now where there is now research being done, not just stereotypically, because scientific research has really been done on like 25 to 35-year-old men.
Yeah.
The amount of research that's now being done for the female body, for adolescents, for 18 to 35 plus.
Absolutely.
It's just incredible the amount of data that we're now being able to capture.
It's really interesting. And I'm actually, at the moment, I'm helping to look at a course for a wellness course for women, where we're looking at the female cycle. So looking at perimenopause, menopause, and looking at how that affects you. And it's so interesting. I'm enjoying doing that at the moment.
Just talking perimenopause, and it kind of link into where we're going a little bit. Do you know at what age our body starts to hold back on its like building and development, and we start to decrease, and that classic, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Well, actually, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I always thought it was kind of, initially I thought it was in your like late 40s, 50s, but it's scarily, it's like, so much earlier, isn't
like
it?
30 to 35.
Yeah.
30 to 35, which is why we're going to talk about movement. So today, gorgeous, we are talking about that pleasure in movement, what movement we should ideally be doing.
Yeah.
And then also kind of like breaking down a few barriers, but in enabling a huge percentage of the population to be able to move.
Yeah. So tell me, we were talking before we filmed about the frightening statistic that you just told me about what percentage of the UK have a gym membership. Tell me.
Oh, yeah. So we've got to really recognise that a gym membership for some is absolutely amazing, but a gym membership for some is also not necessarily...
It's quite prohibitive, isn't it, sometimes?
Absolutely.
Of cost
so
or whatever,
there is only 14% of the UK...
Wait, say that again for the people in the back.
1/4. So 14% of the UK population has a gym membership. So if we take that slightly bigger, that's 14% that have maybe got a contact maybe once a week with a person, a body, a class that's going to make them move.
Goodness.
There are options. There's always an online something to follow, or there is absolutely outdoor activities that we can talk about. But there's now a rising problem in the UK that we are not being encouraged to move as much. We are becoming more obese just because of the foods that are available and nutritional elements that are taking out of food. And also the fact that us as, I suppose, industry experts are only really tapping into a small percentage of the UK population.
We need to start a little movement revolution.
Oh, I love that. A movement revolution.
Should we make a banner of it?
Yes, Mish, I'm with you. Do you know what? It's going to be you on your pirate ship at Coral Reef.
Pirate ship.
The movement revolution.
Oh, my goodness me. I've a lovely time there.
But no, we want to make movement accessible to everybody.
That's the thing. And that's the key thing, I think, is that it's got to be, and regardless of what that movement looks like, it needs to be accessible to everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the baseline that we can start on this is our UK government guidelines for movement.
Yeah.
So it's recommended that we do 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week.
A week, okay.
And then additional to that, 2 strength resistance training sessions.
Yeah.
So that could be rigorous gardening.
Yep.
That could be lifting weights, and that could be a strength-based yoga class.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, it's just dependent on...
So I think what you the thing is very the spectrum is broad. I'll get my
Yes.
teeth in. The spectrum's very broad,
And then
isn't it?
also with that, we should be doing at least 2 sessions of a mobility, balance, coordination.
Okay.
So again, that could be literally walking with your shopping bags.
Playing golf.
Playing golf.
There you go.
Or going to the Pilates classes.
Yeah.
Like, there are all options
Yeah.
available. But it's really important as well, and this is a factor that's sometimes missed, at least once a week, we should be pushing ourselves to do a rigorous form of activity.
Okay, so and that's gonna that rigorous activity is going to look different for different individuals, isn't it? Because,
Absolutely.
for example, it would look very different for your rigorous activity to someone that perhaps hasn't exercised recently. So again, there's you've got that broad spectrum to go from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we could probably start defining what does rigorous feel like. So in my classes, and I know that you do it, and loads of group exercise instructors do it, and absolutely personal trainers do it. There's so much noise and there's so much jargon and there's so much things to do out there that if we just try and simplify it, it makes it more comprehensible and it's easier to educate and help people move. So I tend to talk about a scale of 0 to 10.
Yes.
And that is how we are feeling, not we've fallen asleep. We want to get to about your 5 out of 10 when we're warming up.
Yeah.
And then our rigorous activity is 8 to 9 out of 10. And that means, and I say to them in my class, if I came over to talk to you, you would be able to give me maybe 1 2-word max.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want those 2 words to be rude. But I mean, that is where we are.
Sometimes they are, aren't they?
I know. But do you know what? I'm like, do you know what?
You're here
that means
for
you're
it.
there.
It's the vibe.
Let's do it. I've got a bit of a hard skin when that happens. Only in classes, mind you.
Yeah.
I'm a little softy outside of classes, just saying. But that is what rigorous feels like.
Yeah.
So rigorous, I guess, if we're doing the heavy gardening, again, dependent on your age, your current fitness levels. But if you're lifting something heavy in the garden that's going to make you really puff and you know that you can't talk, that is your rigorous form of activity.
And I think that's really important because I think previously we've always tied that into the fact that you've got to go to a facility and do that, haven't we? And this is, I think, quite industry breaking, the way that we're looking at things now.
Yeah, absolutely, completely. But we also need to make a little note, I suppose, is that they are our guidelines and they're our baseline.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't do a little bit more, but we're always going to have that little nod to overtraining. We don't want to be overtraining.
Absolutely.
And then when we're talking about rigorous activity, let's relate back to Everyone Active, because I blooming love the options that are available at Everyone Active site. Like, from the pool, we've got dedicated fast lanes for swimming, and they are full on.
They really are fast as well,
Oh my
aren't they?
gosh, at Harpenden, I will go there at 6 o'clock in the morning when they're open, and looking at the fast lane, I'm like, wow. And then it blows my mind as well to think how fast Olympic swimmers actually go.
Well, do you know what? It was so funny because I was up at our London Aquatic Centre a couple of months ago, and they have the same system there, a slow, medium, fast lane. And like you said, the speed of these people, and I was kind of saying, are these kind of athletes? Yes! Because they're so fast. And it wasn't. It was just really conditioned swimmers. And I was like, wow.
And you're so good. And that's the beauty, I suppose, of our gyms as well, is that you can do a pay-as-you-go session.
Yeah.
Like, don't have to take on your full membership. You could do it.
Yeah.
And that is rigorous activity in the water. Obviously, I'm not going to advise you to try and speak whilst you're in the water because we don't want your breathing going off.
Okay,
but don't just think, oh my gosh, I've got to get to my max on a cycle bike.
Yeah.
However, obviously, that is one of my faves.
Is it? That's brand new information.
I know.
Do you like a cycle bike?
Or indeed Fortis or performance and conditioning.
Yeah.
So I use the functional kit, and I know that takes me into a zone
Into
where
that
I'm
zone.
completely.
But again, for some people, maybe that might be playing a game of squash.
Yeah.
Or badminton. It can be any kind of activity, can't it?
It is, and that 0 to 10 scale is relative to where you are on that day, not last week.
Yeah.
Not if you're a strength and conditioning coach, not if it's your first time doing exercise. It's relevant to that day and where you are. So our vigorous exercise is recommended for 75 minutes.
Okay.
In the week.
And that can be split up into small chunks, I presume.
Ideally,
you want them to have it in a long
so
block
we
of it?
want a dedicated session.
Okay.
For our intense, we need a dedicated session.
Yeah.
But yes, you are absolutely spot on. Those 75 minutes need to be spread out throughout the week.
Okay.
Or you could do 150 minutes of your moderate activity.
Okay.
So
what would your
moderate
class as moderate then?
And we're on that 0 to 10 scale.
Okay.
We are like 6, 7.
Okay.
So
we could have a conversation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly that. We know when we're moving and we can feel our heart pumping and we've got that blood flow glowing. Glowing.
We are glowing as well.
We are absolutely glowing. Going. But we could talk.
Yeah.
We could absolutely talk. So I guess if we're relating also to anybody that can use technology, it's kind of like that zone 2.
Yep, okay.
So our green zone movement.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Picking kids up on and off throughout the day is absolutely that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, actually.
Like, can we name any parent that actually has got toddlers that aren't like, oh my goodness, by the end of the day?
Yeah, it's true.
It's there. So
it's true.
But I think the most important part on your moderate or indeed your vigorous activity is that you want to do something that you love, because the moment you do something you love, you're going to keep going.
And I think it's forming a habit, isn't it? And I think if you can, like you say, find something that works for you and that you love, whatever that is, you're going to stick at it, aren't you, a bit more?
Absolutely. So that's kind of like our definitions of minutes that we need to be moving. I really want people to start thinking about, we've got 3 different forms of movement.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily a great thing to always do the thing that you're good at. Like, if you want your whole body to change, and we also need to start thinking about how we're going to feel when we're older, what our mobility is going to look like when we're older. And again, we've said it earlier, starts 30 to 35.
Depressing.
Doesn't mean that if you're past 30 or 35, you can't join and can't keep moving.
Yeah.
But it's just a mental note to say that is when physiologically our body is designed to start lessening. It's like, if you don't use it, you will lose it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, because you're here as well, mobility and flexibility. Like, I know you are one of our leading lights on that, but just can we talk about why that is so important to do from really adolescence all the way through?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's interesting, isn't it? Because again, historically, we've not really concentrated on that, have we, at all? But if you're looking at things like even just making sure that your balance is good for when you're getting a little bit older, it's going to help you in your everyday life. All these flexibility things and your balance, your coordination, it's going to help you just literally live your life in a better way.
Yeah, and we've spoken about it before, is that we live in a sedentary society.
Totally,
We are encouraged to now sit down. We're in our cars more, we're at the desk more. I always use, when I'm teaching, if I'm lecturing, teaching rather than class teaching, a TV. So my granddad's generation didn't have a TV. So there was nothing to sit them down on the sofa. My dad's generation had a 3-button option on a TV that they had to get off the sofa for.
Yeah.
Guarantee my grandma was not letting me watch TV every day. It was maybe a weekend thing. Go to our generation, we have a remote control.
I like the way you're doing that.
I'm pretending I'm pressing
it's
the remote
very good.
control.
She should be an actress.
We go to your... Don't sign me up to that. Can you imagine? Oh, dearie me. I'm there. Your children's generation are used to a lot of channels.
Yes.
Potentially not even using a remote control. I won't say it out loud in case it, again, triggers everybody's. But there is a piece of technology that you can just speak to and it's going to do that.
Yeah.
So we're living in a world that's encouraging us not to move.
Yeah.
So that non-moving is why it's even more important that we get the balance, we get the coordination, because we're not doing it in everyday movement and everyday movement patterns. By the time we're 50, 60, 70, 80, let alone 90, we're going to be having more trips and falls.
Yeah.
We're going to be reliant on wheelchairs. We're not up there. Now, I know that you teach these.
Hello, how may I help
Talk to me
you?
about lovely Pilates and why it is great for coordination, for balance, for mobility. Can you just
so in a Pilates, well, certainly when I teach Pilates, I concentrate very much on, we do mobility work, obviously, but I like to get people challenged in doing balance work, or even just having their eyes shut doing things. It just gives you a whole different balance and coordination. In Pilates, that we kind of have our... The class is very much bespoke to the instructors. They'll kind of run it however they want to run it. But within most sessions, you will have some kind of balance section within that. And again, it's because we're trying to make things functional for you for your everyday life. So we'll be mimicking movements that you will be doing without knowing that you're doing them, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, really. Yeah, absolutely. So you could be on the floor and you're all of a sudden balancing on one leg.
Absolutely. Or you could be on all fours and taking an arm in front and a leg behind you. And again, it's that whole balance and coordination that people look at it and think, good, that looks easy, but actually in a class scenario, I would say probably 50% of the class are wobbling or have to take an option to do it.
Absolutely wobble. And it's learning how our body needs to work and needs to train to keep that muscle memory going. And when we're talking about functional, like you're balancing on one leg, if you're walking upstairs holding a shopping bag, that's going to put you off balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're actually training for real life situations.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is that people say, I can't come to that class, I've got no balance. And I'm kind of like, that's why you need to come.
Yes.
This is why you need to do it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was lecturing my husband, sorry, Mr. Laurie, the other week, because he was saying that he had absolutely no balance and coordination. And I've given him the challenge to brush his teeth on one leg. And again, because he couldn't do it at all.
There we go. Top tip. We've got a top tip right there. That is easy. That's accessible. That is free
Doesn't
to people.
cost you any money at all.
Say what it is again.
So when you're brushing your teeth, instead of just standing brushing your teeth, stand on one leg and do it.
There we go.
Lift one leg, even if it's just a little bit off the floor, and then you can change legs. But again, you'll be amazed. So I gave him that challenge last week, and he's holding it a little bit longer already. But it's just these simple things.
Yeah. And it's within us, like it is our physiology to be able to do this, but we just have to keep practicing it in order to do it.
Yeah.
And I want to also talk about, because I've got you, when we're talking about balance and coordination, but mobility, it's so important, especially if you are picking kids up and off all day, if you are in a rigorous job, if you are doing a workout routine, you need to have your stretch session. It needs to be important.
100%.
And I think the important thing is this is additional. You need at least 2 dedicated sessions to do this. Not at the end of a workout.
Yeah, just on their standalone sessions.
Yes. Yeah. And do you want to try and prevent like the decline
exactly.
of your movement?
Absolutely. And I think what's interesting is that I speak to some of my friends and they're saying, oh goodness, I can't even get up out of the sofa anymore without pushing. It's little things like just getting out of the chair without having to push yourself off. And again, it's just those little tips.
Don't use it, you will lose it. Our bodies are designed to do that.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
They will do that.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about our 150 minutes or our 75 minutes, talk about our balance and our coordinations. I also want to talk about, it's really important that we understand also about cardio movement.
Okay.
And our cardiovascular system. So it's an internal system that we need to train, that we need to use. And we need to do dedicated cardio sessions. I know everybody times talks about, lose muscle mass, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But actually we need to start thinking about, are you using it and losing it? And when we talk cardiovascular, we're talking about your heart.
Yeah.
We need to be constantly training your heart. In Everyone Actives, we've got such an array of group exercise classes that fit that.
Yeah.
And it's a massive message to do you know what? Your dance classes, if they make you buzz, if they make you happy, there's your cardiovascular training. If you've got your EA cycle class, get on that bike. Don't just sit there and think, I could do this all day long. Have it as your cardiovascular heart training activity.
But also maybe if you don't want to go into a class scenario, you can maybe go into the gym, walk on a treadmill, maybe on an incline and get your heart rate going that way as well. So there's lots of different things you can do, aren't there?
Absolutely. And when we're talking about accessibility, walk outside.
Walking,
a brisk walk for over a 20-minute period. Let's go for it.
Get out on your bike.
Get out on your bike outside. Yeah, absolutely. So we've done our mobility, we've done our rigorous, and and we've talked the importance of cardiovascular strength.
Your baby.
Talk
so then
to me. Another system in our body, so our musculoskeletal system, is again another system that we need to continuously use and we need to continuously train. Just a little nudge. We don't want to overtrain. We don't want to be picking up injuries. We don't want to be hurting ourselves.
So what would you class as overtraining for people?
It's going to be very, very dependent to an individual.
Okay.
If you're coming in new and you've never, strength is something that you can pick up at any stage in your life.
Yeah.
I am going to flag that in adolescence, there are absolutely different guidelines.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about this, I'm kind of talking adolescent plus, so probably 18, 19, 20 plus.
Okay.
If you are an adolescent, please talk to your gym team or research the UK Active Guidelines. If you're an athlete within a club, there's going to be a specific coach
isn't there? Yeah.
for youth development. So when we're talking strength training, we are talking our muscular system. So our muscular system that supports our skeleton and our skeleton that moves us.
Okay.
But not only does it do that, it supports all of our internal organs. Like there's more to don't just think, oh my God, I'm lifting a weight. Actually, there is a whole bigger picture. And our physiology inside of us is still the same system that 1,000+ years ago, let's go even more, 10,000 years ago, would have been potentially walking a marathon to then maybe kill a great big animal and then getting that animal back to camp, and that is the strength training.
Yeah.
That is your pulling, that is your pushing, that is the working the muscles.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely wonderful that we've now been able to take that physiology and put it into a gym scenario, and we've got our weight sessions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can train certain types of the body, and we can follow a structured pattern. But again, we could recreate these at home.
Yes.
We could even go back to those COVID times when we had to lift loaded water bottles.
Oh my goodness, do you remember doing that?
Yes, shopping bags. I think
bags.
actually one of the first times we went live, you had to use shopping bags.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
As resistance training.
Yeah. Shopping bags and then filled water bottles I remember using as well, yeah.
And we were all talking about our filled water bottles. So please don't just inhabit yourself by thinking that you haven't got that gym membership, you can't lift weights.
Yeah, you haven't got to be outlaying lots of money to do this. You can be doing this at home.
No,
Yeah, absolutely.
A form of resistance training is getting out of your chair, standing up, sitting down.
Back down again, yeah.
Standing up, sitting down. We are working those muscles. And I think people just recognise when your muscles are working. So if you can feel your muscle tension happening, if you can feel movement in your muscle, you are starting to train it. And that's what we're asking for. Just twice a week is minimum guidelines. But with a little nod, don't overtrain it. If you feel a niggle, go and speak to an expert.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to go down a strength and conditioning route, or if you want to go on a strength training program, talk to the personal trainers.
Yeah.
Like they're skilled and expert in it. If you don't want PT sessions, we've got classes that run. So we've got like body pump. We've got performance and conditioning.
Absolutely.
There are strength-based classes. That we can do.
And then there'll also be things, small group things on the gym floor as well that people can do as well, won't there?
Huge.
So
I love the rise in small group training sessions. Like
they're really popular here, actually.
Really good. So we've kind of merged a group exercise studio feel, but running them
on the gym floor for people that don't feel comfortable going into a studio. Yeah, it's amazing.
Completely. Okay, I'm going to hit you now with another reason why movement and any movement that you enjoy is good.
Go.
We know that we're already sedentary.
Yep.
So we're sitting down. By the way, if you listen to this sitting down, stand up now. Get onto your tippy toes.
They're all standing up
do
behind the camera.
Do little calf raises, up and down, get that blood flow glowing. Glowing again.
Glowing.
It's my new word.
I think it's because you glowed.
Glowing. Or sit up and sit back down, sit up, sit back down.
Yep.
Like get moving. Any movement is now triggering all of those physiological systems.
I wish we could turn the cameras round.
I do, because I love this. I love that we've actually got our crew behind the cameras going, do you know what? Yeah, we've been sitting down recording you for a little while. We need to move. Do it. And we can set that through day to day. Even
absolutely.
if we're sitting down watching the telly, do it whenever the adverts come on.
Yeah.
Set yourself a little reminder on your computer, on your diary, on anything, or put something in your pocket that's going to be your reminder that's like, oh, actually,
I've got a little
to
thing
move.
on my watch that says time to stand.
Yes.
See, I do that.
Yeah,
It's
the
very
text
helpful.
there. Okay, ready for this one. So we know...
This is another groundbreaking bit of information you're going to give me.
It's a bit of a... Oh.
Okay.
It's a bit of a oh.
Okay.
How much, in terms of millions of pounds, do you think the UK NHS spends on, ready for this?
Oh, gosh, go on.
Laxatives.
5 million.
More than double. 13 million pounds
£13
a year. £13 million pounds a year is spent on laxatives. And if we're spending that on laxatives, we are saying people need to move more. They need to make sure that the hydration is up, and we need to make sure that we are...
Wow, that's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, because our body... We're not using it.
Yeah.
We're starting to lose it. And then there's other functions in our body that go, well, actually, I need that part to happen or else I can't work properly.
So I think that's the thing, isn't it? It has a knock-on effect. It's like a domino effect, isn't it?
Yeah. So movement
Yeah.
is going to get your circulation. So we've got you up, down, standing.
Yeah.
It's going to hit your digestive system because we're making things move.
Yeah.
And with the fact that we as a nation have gone, holy moly, £13 million being spent on
lot, isn't it?
laxatives, which is... Granted, there are going to be people that fall into a category where they do have absolute trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's totally recognised. And thank goodness we've got GPs and actual surgeons that can aid that. But the majority of those move more, drink water more.
Fibre.
Get fibre in your diet. It's what it is there for.
Yeah.
It's absolutely there for. Also, I'm in a bit of statistics
Are you?
mode
I love this.
today.
I love Stat Joe.
Are we ready?
Go on.
Okay.
Drum roll.
This actually... Well, actually, it alarmed me.
Oh.
Okay, ready
on.
for this?
Go on.
What percentage of the UK population does less than 30 minutes of physical activity a week? Not a day, a week.
It's going to be high, isn't it?
This means But even walking counts as movement. So this is no form of physical activity. What percentage?
20%.
Oh, it's higher.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's
Go on.
30%. 30%
Oh, my goodness me.
of the UK population does less than 30 minutes of any form of movement, of exercise
Wow.
each week. That's why we've got to start waking up. We've got to start movement out there, and you're going to find something that you like to do and keep it going.
Let's start a movement.
A movement. A movement.
Do you see what I did there?
Oh,
I'm here
my
all week.
goodness.
You're welcome for that.
And also, this going around at the moment, and you probably would have seen it, the increase in glucose monitors.
Yes.
Like blood glucose, what's happening.
I know.
But if you're sitting down all day, it's going to have a massive effect on how your body uses your glucose, your energy around your body. And that's why we just want to encourage you to move more, to get up, to stand, to walk, to lift those children, to garden, to run. But really important to find something that makes you happy, because the moment you're doing it and you're enjoying it, you're going to do it more.
You're going to stick at it, aren't you, more? I agree.
Yeah. And a massive note for those of you that do love the gyms, and we love welcoming you in there, just set yourself a little goal, because if you've got your cardiovascular system, you've got your coordination and your balance, and you've got your cardio, if you spend the whole time just training strength, there's 2 whole systems that are going to start
To decline.
decline. So challenge yourself. Change that routine up a bit. Make that dedicated time.
Are you throwing that challenge out there to the universe?
I am.
Amazing.
I absolutely am. I'm challenging people listening to the podcast, people who are members of Everyone Active, but also people that know people that aren't necessary.
Yeah.
Point them towards Everyone Active on Demand. Point them towards any other online form of movement classes. If you're going to the shops, do you know what? Knock on your neighbour's door, see if they want a little chat whilst you walk.
Yeah.
Like, let's get back to being movement and being human, because if we don't
do you know,
use
I
it...
think that's interesting, because do you remember in COVID and people, it was funny because I've got dogs, so I'm always out walking.
Mm-hmm.
But during COVID, the amount of people in my local, in my little housing estate where I live, who are out walking every day was unbelievable. Don't see them anymore.
Yeah, but it's that classic case of that we had it restricted from us. It was taken away from us. And when those guidelines first came out, we got, an hour a day? And everyone was like, oh my gosh, I need this hour. It's important. It's good for my health. It's good for my movement.
My mental well-being.
Mental well-being, that's still the case. We're still the same physiology. We're still the same humans. It's so important that you still get that time. And yes, absolutely, there are more time pressures on us. We are living in a society that doesn't want us necessarily to move as much now.
Yeah, you're right.
But you are human, and you are amazing, and you can do it. So let's get moving.
Spread the word.
Yay!
Oh, I love it.
Yes, we are moving. But that's kind of like our little messages.
So we're challenging you to go and do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Balance coordination.
Do it.
Strength.
Do it.
Cardiovascular.
Do it.
Moderate.
Moderate.
Vigorous.
Yay.
The challenges are out there, team. But move and enjoy.
And if you've
move
got any
more.
questions, please pop us an email. Joe is obsessed with this subject, aren't
Definitely.
you? And Joe will respond to you.
Oh,
Podcast
happily.
@everyoneactive.com.
Yeah, definitely.
And as always, leave us your comments, your likes, share the love, share this podcast, and challenge someone.
Yeah, do, because remember, 14% of the UK have a gym membership. I highly doubt that all 14% are actually listening to us right now. So if you are listening to us,
Well done.
Spread that love. Let's get people moving.
And remember, any movement is good movement.
Yes, any movement is good movement. And team, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Gorge.
Lovely to see
Thanks,
you.
Bracknell, for having us.
Yes, Team Bracknell. And do review, share, just get us out there. And team, we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.